Yeah, very good morning. So shall we start the session? In the last class, we have studied about the Java encapsulation. Now, today's class is Java inheritance, that is chapter number 20. What is Java inheritance? What is the inheritance? Why we are using the inheritance? So it can be defined as a process where one object acquires the properties of another. That means when we reuse the concept, when we reuse another concept, that means one project acquires the properties of another. That is known as the inheritance. So this can be defined as a process when one object acquires the properties of the another object. With the use of inheritance, the information is made manageable in a hierarchical concept. And when we talk about the inheritance, the most commonly used keywords are the extends and the implement. There are two categories in this one. One is a relationship, one is has a relationship, right? So this is the public class animal, public class mammal, extends animal, public class reptile, extends animal, public class dog, extends mammal. Now based on the above example, in object-oriented terms, the following are the true. That is, animal is a superclass of the mammal class. Animal is a superclass of the reptile class. Mammal and the reptile are the subclasses of the animal class, and dog is a subclass of both mammal and the animal classes. So these are the various terms that is used in the inheritance. Now there are two types of relationship. One is a relationship, one is has a relationship. And there are two types of keyword that is used. One is extends, one is import. Sorry, implement, not the import, that is implement. So let's discuss with first one, that is a relationship. So is a word of saying, or is a way of saying, and this object is a type of that object. Let us see how the extends keyword is used to achieve the inheritance. This is a public class animal. Now there is a class mammal that extends the animal, reptile that also extends the animal, then class dog that also extends the mammal. So there are two classes, that is a mammal and the reptile that extends the animal, and there is only one class, that is a dog, that extends the mammal. So animal is a superclass of the mammal class, and animal is a superclass of the reptile class. In the same way, mammal and reptile both are the subclasses of the animal class. Then dog is only subclass of the mammal and the animal classes. Now, if we consider the is a relationship, we can say mammal is an animal, reptile is an animal, because it is a subclass, so we can say it is an animal and it is a mammal, and dog is a mammal. Hence, dog is an animal as well as a mammal. And with the use of the extend keyword, the subclasses will be able to inherit all the properties. That means, for example, if there are four properties of the superclass, so each and every property will be taken by the subclass. So all the properties of the superclass except for the private properties of the superclasses. And we can ensure that a mammal is actually an animal with the use of the instance operator. So this is one of the example. This is public class dog extends mammal. Public static void main string args, then animal a equals to new animal. Now taken out or taking the animal or a as a variable of the animal, this is equals to the new animal, then mammal m equals to new mammal, then dog d, that is equals to the new dog. D is taken out as a variable, that is equals to the new dog. Then system.out.println m instance of animal, d instance of mammal, d instance of animal. So these are the three uh, lines that is used to print on the screen. This is system.out.println, system.out.println, system.out.println. This will produce the following result. This is true, true, and true. Since we have a good understanding of the extends keywords, let us take how to implement how to use the implement keyword to get the is a relationship. Till now we have used the is a relationship. Next one is the implements. Yes, till now we have discussed the extends keyword in the is a relationship. Next is the implements keyword in the is a relationship. So implement keyword is used by the classes by inherit from the inherit interfaces, and that can never be extended by the classes. For example, public interface animal, public class mammal implements animal, then public class dog extends mammal. So these are there's one class that implements the animal, there is one dog that extends the mammal. Now next is the instance of keyword. Like the use of the implement, like the use of the extends, we are also using the instance of operator to check whether the animal or the mammal is actually an animal and dog is actually an animal. So this is used to describe. This is interface animal, class mammal implements animal. Public class dog extends the mammal, then public static void main string args. Then mammal m equals to new mammal, dog d equals to new dog. Then there are three lines that is used to present, that is used to print with the instance of mammal, instance of animal, instance of mammal. That is m, d, and d. And all these three keywords, that is the operator, that is the instance of, that is the implements, all these are used with the is a relationship. Now next is a has a relationship. What is the meaning of has a relationship, how it works, and what is the difference between the is a and the has a relationship? So these relationships are mainly based on the usage. Now there's next is a has a relationship that is used. So this relationship helps to reduce the duplication of the codes as well as the errors or the bugs. Let us look. Yes, let us take an example. There's a public class vehicle. There's a one class vehicle, one class speed. And the when is exchanged with the vehicle. This is the line. That means now when is a superclass that is extends or that is getted by the vehicle. So in this case, each and every properties of the van, each and every function, that may be a private function, that may be a public function, any function, each and every function is inherited by the vehicle function or the vehicle class. And then private private speeds SP. This shows that the class van has a relationship. By having a separate class for the speed, we do not have to put the entire code that belongs to speed inside the van class. That makes it possible to reuse the speed class in the case of the multiple applications. And in object-oriented feature, the user do not need to bother about which object is doing the real work. To achieve this, the van class hides the implementation details because superclass and the subclasses are the classes that is inherited from the class. An important fact to remember that Java only supports only single inheritance. That means a class cannot extend more than one classes, and this is provided. Yes, this is one of the example that shows that this is the illegal because it extends the animal and without any space. So there is a space between the extends and the animal, then mammal. However, a class can implement one or more interfaces. This means, or this has made, a Java gets rid of the impossibility of the multiple inheritance. Now, next is a Java overwriting. So just do one thing, read out this chapter number 20, that is the Java inheritance, and within 5 minutes, we will start with the chapter number 21, Java overwriting. Now next is the Java overriding. So in this chapter we are talking about the superclasses and the subclasses, and if the class inherits a method from its superclass, then there is a chance to override the method or provided that is not marked final. And the benefit of overriding is that ability to define a behavior that is specific to the subclass type, which means a subclass can implement a parent class method based on its requirement. That means its ability to define a behavior that is specific to the subclass type. That means a subclass can implement a parent class. So subclass can implement a parent class method with the basis of the requirement, with the use of the requirement. So it can implement with the use of the requirement, that is the basic of the requirement. That means a subclass can use or subclass can implement a parent class method based on its requirement. And in object-oriented terms, overriding means to override the functionality of an existing method. Override means overusage, or we can say the reuse of the functionality of the existing method. Now, for example, when we say there is a class animal, public void move. So we are taking the function as a void move or the void type. Then system.out.println animals can move. Then class dog that extends animal. In the same way, this becomes a superclass. This becomes a subclass. Then public void move system.out.println dogs can walk and run. Then public class test dog animal static void main string args animal a equals to new animal b equals to new dog. This reference is used with the dog object. Then a dot move that runs a method in the animal class, and then b dot move that runs the method in the dog class. So these are the few methods, these are the few classes that is available with the extendable. So that is known as the static class, that is known as the extended class, that is known as the a and the b, that is used with the animal and the dog. Now this will produce the output that animals can move, dogs can run, walk and run. In the above example, you see that even though b is the type of the animal, it runs the move method in the dog class. And the reason for is that in the compile time, the check is made on the reference type, not on the value type. It is the check is made on the reference type, and in the runtime, JVM figure out the subject or the object type and run down the method that belongs to that particular object. Therefore, in the above example, the program will compile only since animal class has a method move. Then at the runtime, it runs the specific method or the method specific for that object. Now consider the following example. This is the next example. Class animal public void move system.out.println same animals can move. Again, there is the same class that is extendable. So class dog extends the animal. Then public void move system.out.println dogs can walk and run. Then public void dot bark system.out.println dogs can bark. Then public class test dog. Then public static void main string args animal a equals to new animal b equals to new dog. This is the animal reference and object. This is the animal reference but dog object. This is the a dot move, then b dot move, then b dot bark. So the a is used with the dot operator to call the function of the move, then b is used with the move, and the bark is also used with the b. Now this is the output. That means the test dog java 30 cannot find the symbol. This is the symbol, that is the method bark, then location and class animal b dot bark. This program will throw a compile time error since b reference type animal don't have or does not have a method by the name of the bark. Now this is next one is the most important part. What are the various rules for the method overriding? There are some, we can say the prototype, there are some rules regulation that is defining for the method overriding. The argument list should be exactly the same as that of the overridden method. So whatever the argument list, that should exactly be the same, that is exactly with the same method or the same as that of the overridden method. Then the return type should be the same or a subtype of the return type declared in the original overridden method in the superclass. And the access level cannot be more restrictive than the overridden method's access level. For example, if the superclass method is declared public, then the overriding method in the subclass cannot be either private or the protected. Then instance methods can be overridden only if they are inherited by the subclasses. Then a method declared final cannot be overridden. So whenever a method that is declared as a final cannot be overridden, and a method that is declared static cannot be overridden but can be declared. Now, if a method cannot be inherited, it cannot be overridden. And if a subclass within the same package is used as an instance superclass, can override any of the subclasses or the superclasses method that is not declared private or the final. Then when a subclass in the different package can only override the non-final classes method, that means that is not declared as a public or the protected. They are only the private methods. And there is the overrider method that can throw any unchecked exceptions regardless of whether the overriding method throws the exception or not. However, the overriding methods should not throw the checked exceptions that are the new or the broader than the ones that is delivered by the or declared by the overridden method. And And the overriding method can now or can then narrower or the fewer exception than the overridden methods. One more thing is that constructors cannot be overridden. The next is using the super keyword. So when invoking with the super version or the super class version of overridden method, the super keyword is used, that is animal or the class animal public void move, then system.out.println, that is animals can move. Then class dog extends animal, so there's the dog class that extends the animal, then public void move, then super.move that invokes the superclass method, then system.out.println. This is used for printing, that is dogs can work and the next class is the test dog. This is the public static void main animal b equals to new dog b.move that runs the method in the dog class. Next is the Java polymorphism. So this is the ability to take more than one form, that is the same as we discussed with the C++. Again, there are two types of relationship. One is a relationship, one is has a relationship. And it is also important to know that the only possible ways to access an object is through a reference variable, and reference variable can be of any of that one type, that is once declared, the type of that reference variable cannot be changed. And a reference variable can be assigned to other objects provided that it is declared final. And the type of the reference variable would determine the method that invokes the object. Again, there are two examples that is discussed. A deer is an animal, that is a relationship. A deer is a vegetarian. A deer is a deer. Then a deer is an object. So these are the four is a relationship that is used with the deer class. Then deer D equals to new deer, animal A equals to D. Then virtual methods. In this section, we will discuss the behavior of the overridden methods in the Java that allows the advantage of polymorphism when designing you the classes. And we already discussed about the method overriding, where a child class can override its method in a present class, and overridden method is essentially hidden in the parent class. That is not invoked in this one. And this behavior is also not changed with the use of the two salary objects, that is one is the salary reference, other using an exception or the employee reference variable. And while invoking the s.mail check, the compiler sees the mail check in the salary class at compile time, and the JVM invokes the mail check in the salary class at the runtime. That is used with the runtime method, that is used with the runtime procedures. And the JVM invokes the salary class function. That is used with the salary invoke because E is the employee reference, and when the employee class or when the compiler uses the mail check, the compiler sees the check option, sees the variable option that is used in the employee class. Here at the compile time, the compiler used in mail check in the employee to validate this statement, and at the runtime, the JVM invokes the mail check in the salary class. And the behavior is used as a virtual function, virtual invocation, and the methods are referred as a virtual methods, and all these methods in the Java behave in this manner, whereby the overridden method is invoked at the runtime, no matter what type of reference or what data type the reference is that when we use the source code at the compile time. Now next is the Java expression.